Hi everyone, back at the more YouTube channel. It's Chris back with a match preview for Newcastle United's second game of the Champions League this season against Union Saint-Gilloise, or USG as they're called for short, because everyone's struggling to pronounce it. I probably butchered it right there, so apologies to USG for that. But Newcastle United are coming off the back of a defeat to Arsenal in the Premier League following the Champions League defeat to Barcelona at home at St James's Park, where they've huffed and they've puffed and haven't blown the house down. Now, this game looks to be the easiest one on paper in the Champions League draw, but the way Newcastle are playing right now, all better off, in my opinion, for results in all kind of games, to be honest with you. I'm going to get stuck right into this, talk about how I think we're going to line up, talk about how the game maybe won. Also have a little look at USG as well and how dangerous they were in the game against PSV and some of their players to watch out for as well. If that's the kind of thing you guys like, smash subscribe, like below, help get us to the next milestone, which is 12,000. We're about 300 or so away. So keep clicking that button, guys, and help us get there. The games are coming thick and fast. The videos are coming thick and fast. Very hard to squeeze them all in, but I hope you all enjoy them and the effort that's put into them. So let's get stuck in. So this is a weird kickoff time. This is a 5:45 kickoff time, so there'll be plenty of early finishes, I'm sure, from people's work as well, and rightly so, to get back home to watch Newcastle United, or maybe they'll just slide into the boozer next to the office and possibly watch it in there. But a lot of lucky devils will be over in Berlin as well to watch it, and I'm sure they'll have a fun. Oh, Belgium to watch it. I didn't know where the fuck they were from it. I just made it up. Belgium. So that's where they'll be watching it as well. Lovely cities, great cities, nice beers. But let's get stuck into this. And so how do I think we're going to line up in this game? Well, there is injury concerns, absolutely. Wissa still injured, as we know, not back till after Brighton. Ramsey still injured, not back until after Brighton, possibly. Tino Livramento, haven't had an update on that one yet. That looked like a bad knee injury. He's going to be out for some time as well. So I think we're going to have to ring some changes in this particular starting lineup. So this is the lineup that I've gone for, and hopefully Eddie will go for the same thing. I don't know. I never know Eddie Howe these days, but I'm going to go for a 4-3-3 rather than a 5 at the back. I think we need to really assert some kind of dominance on this game and try and go at USG and really win this game early on, and then we can maybe start making some changes and rest players and get off to a winning start in the Champions League as well, because we need wins on the board, Premier League and Champions League. The more you lose games, the more it becomes a habit. So this is the team I've gone for. Nick Pope in goal. I think he'll keep his place regardless of his weird kick in the Arsenal game that led to the eventual winning goal. Pulled off 5 world-class saves. He's not going to lose his place unless Howe wants to rotate and bring Ramsdale into this game. He may very well do. I don't know, but I think he'll probably stick with Nick Pope. Now, I've got Kieran Trippier at right back and Lewis Hall coming in at left back as well. Tino Livramento's injury kind of cements that, really. Lewis Hall was protected in the the Arsenal game, I beg your pardon. Didn't even make an appearance on the bench. So that tells you he's resting Lewis Hall for that game and making sure that he can be fit for the USG game. So I think Lewis Hall will come back in. Now, at centre-half, I've made some changes there. Malik Chow and Sven Botman have been absolutely brilliant as a pair and in a 3 as well. I think you'll save them for Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. So I think you'll go for Fabian Schär coming back in and Dan Burn. I think Fabian Schär's had enough time off for the concussion now that he should be able to play. I may be wrong. It may very well be Malik Chow and Botman, or it may very well be a back 3 again. I hope not anyway against USG. I hope we really go for it. Midfield 3, I've made a change there. I've took Joe Litton out of my midfield. I don't know if Howe will do the same. I've gone for Bruno Guimaraes, who was poor against Arsenal, needs a good game. Sandro Tonali, who's just an ever-present. And Lewis Miley coming back. And Lewis Miley got no game time at the weekend, which was weird because when we needed to try and protect the draw, 1-1, Lewis Miley coming on looking after the ball probably would have been a good idea rather than Jamal Lascelles when Tino Livramento was injured. That was a weird one. I don't know what Eddie Howe was thinking. Nobody will ask him because they're too pally with him and they won't ask him that question. It's starting to irk me a little bit. That it really, really is. But I think Lewis Miley will come in this game. And this is the kind of game where Lewis Miley can get on the ball, try and make things happen, maybe influence the game, allow Tonali to wander up the pitch a little bit and get more involved as well while Lewis Miley sits, or maybe Lewis Miley can wander up the pitch and make things happen. But I like that midfield 3. I want to see that tried more. And I think if them two can sit and then Bruno can go forward, he can maybe get a goal or assist, and that will help Bruno shake off the cobwebs of some couple of iffy performances, I would say, from the skipper. In the front 3, I've gone with Nick Voltemade in the middle. I think he will play him. I think he might get a chance to maybe get a goal or 2 in this game, possibly as well, help with his confidence. And then either side of him, I've gone for Harvey Barnes coming in the left. Gordon's not been great since he come in. I think Gordon will be rested for the Premier League. So I think we'll go Harvey Barnes left, Anthony Elanga right, and Big Nick in the middle. Now, Big Nick probably get hooked on the hour mark, possibly for Willis Sula, depending on how the game's going. But I think that's how Newcastle United will line up. And in USG themselves, I don't know a great deal about them. I watched them against PSV. And they were really positive. They were quick. They were aggressive. They were strong. They rightly so won that game 3-1. And PSV are a decent side in Eredivisie, but they really weren't scared of them. They were fearless going in. What I can tell you is USG are unbeaten in 10 games, by the way. They currently sit top of the Pro League in Belgium. And they are the go-to team. They had a Club Brugge, they had Anderlecht. They're the go-to side. And in the last game, obviously the Champions League against PSV, they won that game 3-1. The guys that caught the eye in that game, really just getting back into the lineups, etc., etc. So the players who really caught the eye in that game, David caught the eye. I thought he was lively, he was big, he was strong, he was quick. He got himself the penalty, scored the penalty, tucked it away really nicely as well, got involved. I also like, was it Al Haj as well? He looked quite dangerous in the number 10 role. And then Kevin McAllister scored as well from defence. No, not the Home Alone character. No, not Kevin. The other Kevin. He scored a goal as well. And they really deserved that win against PSV. Maybe PSV took them for granted, possibly. I don't know. Maybe it was one of those types of games. But they were strong. They were aggressive. Rodriguez as well. He was aggressive in the game. And they look like a side with nothing to lose in the Champions League. And I think that's how they'll play these games. I think they'll be fearless. They'll go at teams. And that's why Newcastle can't afford to sit back and allow pressure on them and possibly end up in the same situation that they ended up in, against Arsenal, against Liverpool, even against Leeds and Villa, where we just watch the game peter away into nothing because we're too busy trying to contain the other side. We really need to go at this team. I mean, we're Newcastle United. We're a big team compared to USG. No disrespect to them. People have written them off in the Champions League already, but they've already shown they've got plenty about them as well. And like I said, I have got some dangerous players. We promised David, as I say, he is a dangerous player. There's no doubt about that. He's definitely quick. He's got something about him. You sometimes find these players, where you can just see them come out of nowhere, really, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, look at them. And he's got 4 goals already in their league. And then if you look at the kind of Champions League as well, he's got a goal in there. So he's already got 5 goals. In kind of 10 appearances there. So he's got a good record so far this season, and there will be no mugs. You can't take them lightly. We can't say, we're going to piss on these, because we're struggling to get the attacking play going at the moment. But this is a big game for Newcastle United. This is a big game for the likes of Harvey Barnes, for the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, for the likes of Alanga. These are the kind of games, and Nick Voltemade, these are the kind of games where on paper you think Newcastle should be the dominant side in this. They should have the majority of the ball. They should have more clinical players. They should take care of business. And these are the types of games that you need, like Bradford midweek, where get on the score sheet, build up a nice bit of play. There was times against Arsenal where we played quite well, but we gave them too much respect. We weren't aggressive enough. We sat back too much and we invited pressure on. At one point we had 4 centre-halves on the pitch, for fuck's sake. So we invited so much pressure on, and Arsenal took that pressure and ended up winning the game. We can't do that against these lot. We've got to really be in their faces and go for them, but they are an energetic team. They do like to play in your face and press you, and play through transitions. And, from what we saw against PSV, they're not a bad side, so we can't afford to rock up with this game half-arsed and think we're going to piss it, because we're not going to piss it. We need to make sure we put the effort in and win this game. And this is a massive game for Newcastle United in the broader scheme of the Champions League fixtures. There's a lot of difficult games we've got in this particular run of fixtures. Obviously Barcelona, we've got PSG as well, Marseille, all these teams to play in the Champions League. These are difficult games for Newcastle to go to. Difficult games for us to play. Bayern Leverkusen as well is another one. Recently Bundesliga winners. I know they slipped back a bit since Alonso left, but we don't have easy games in the Champions League. And this is the kind of game. Not that I want to disrespect USG, but this is the kind of game that when you looked at the fixtures, you thought, well, there's 3 points there. Try and help us get through the knockout stages. Newcastle have got to assert themselves on this game. They've got to be aggressive. They've got to be in the front foot. They've got to attack, and they've got to make sure they take their chances. I want to see a good 3-0 win in this game to get a bit of confidence, go back in the Premier League. But I worry with the way we're playing at the minute that maybe 3-0 is a little bit of a stretch. So I'm going to go for a Newcastle United victory, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. A narrow win, and that sounds really negative, but I just think that USG will be up for this. They've got energy in the side. They've got a great result to kick off, the Champions League there. They're unbeaten in 10. Confidence is high with this team. They're not scared of Newcastle. They'll be saying, fuck it, bring it on. They want to play against Brazilian internationals and Italian internationals. And, you know, they'll want to do that. They'll want to show how good they are against players of that quality. And that's why they've got nothing to lose. So I think that this will be a difficult game for Newcastle, a difficult game to navigate and to get through. But we have to let our quality shine through. We have to be clinical with our chances. So I think we're going to win this game 2-1. I haven't got the confidence to sit here and predict a 4-1, 3-0 victory. I just don't. The way Newcastle are playing at the moment, it's struggling to put it together. They don't seem to be able to link up with Nick Voltemade very well. If Will Asula plays, he's a little bit of a fucking karaoke ball bouncing all over the gaff. Nobody seems to know where he's going to run, where he's going to go. He's over at the right wing. He's on his toes. He's over the left wing. He's in the middle. You know, he's just as likely to drop a shoulder, beat a player and smack one in than he is to put it in the car park. So you can't really rely on Asula leading the line. I hope that Howe doesn't do that. I hope he gives Nick Voltemade the start in this game and try and get him some goals and some confidence. But I'm a little bit nervous about this game, I've got to be honest with you, but I hope Newcastle have got the quality to get the job done. We need to get off to a win and mark in the Champions League. We need to get some points on the board. We need some confidence back in this team. We need some goals. We need some attacking prowess. Come on, Newcastle, get it done. Don't piss around. Don't give too much respect to this team. I mean, Leeds are awful and we couldn't score against them. So, you know, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that we could lose this game against USG. I'm not going to sit there and be confident about it. You know, sorry if it sounds negative, guys, but the way Newcastle are playing right now, attacking-wise, we're a bit of a blunt tool. So we need to get some proper attacking play going, some goals, some quality, some creativity. We need to see that coming back into the side. And this could be the game to kickstart it. So let's hope Newcastle get the job done. I'm going for a 2-1 victory. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Like and subscribe. Keep it ever more. I'll be back with a live post-match reaction to this game. Hopefully I'm smiling because Newcastle have got a result and it's on to Forest the weekend. 2 big games, 2 wins needed. Let's target this one first. Get it done on Wednesday. Then it's on to the weekend. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a belter. We'll see you later.
Heroes celebrate. They have done it.